So we're back with something a little bit different today, guys. I'm once again going to be doing a map ranking. However, obviously this time all the maps are actually here. I think I did this just before launch after we'd played Mira Valley and Operation Firestorm, but obviously not all of the maps are available. So I mentioned in that video that I'd be coming back and doing an actual ranking once all the maps are finally here, and I've given it about a week post-launch to actually get enough playtime on all of them. So without wasting any time, let's jump right in. I feel like some of my positions from the last video will actually be a little bit different. Now, I think I'm once again going to just try to go through in the... Is this in alphabetical order? Yeah. I'm going to just try and go through in alphabetical order rather than doing like best to worst, because that makes it a lot easier doing it that way. I think it's more enjoyable when it's actually harder to do. So we're going to go through in alphabetical order. So starting off with Cairo. Technically, it's not alphabetical order because this map's called Siege of Cairo, but you know what I mean. And I think for me, this one has not changed. This is definitely an A tier map for me. I think it has the potential over the course of time to potentially end up S tier, where I'll look back at this map in 10 years from now and be like, man, that was one of the best maps in Battlefield history. I really do think it has that potential, but you can't really tell until it's been that amount of time. I think it's pretty much impossible. So yeah, for now, I don't think I can put it in S tier just yet, but it definitely has the potential to be up there, that's for sure. And yeah, because we've played this all throughout the beta and then launch as well, it's probably the most tested map for me, really. So that one is definitely not moving at all. Now, moving on, we have got Empire State. And oh man, I don't know where I put this one last time. I'm gonna guess it was maybe C tier. I'm not really sure, but I'm putting this bitch in the D tier. I hate this map. I'll be honest, I hate this map so much. I think in certain modes, and I should mention that too, I'm trying to do this across kind of all modes. So mostly Conquest and Breakthrough. I haven't really played a whole lot of Escalation just yet. And then when it comes to Saints Quarter, like that's only small modes, so it's a bit hard to balance. But this isn't for any specific mode. This is just for the general consensus of the map, I guess. And realistically for me, I despise this map. Like I said, I think in some of the smaller modes, it's okay. I think it suits that type of, you know, like the domination. And I remember playing in the LA event, we played Squad Deathmatch, which I haven't played since launch, but I remember it was kind of alright on that. I think it suits the smaller modes, but honestly, I think Conquest and Breakthrough on this are just not fun for me personally. I don't know what it necessarily is. I can't actually put a finger on it, because initially I thought it was like, oh, it's too close quarters, maybe a bit too vertical, but there's other maps on here that I really like. For example, Cairo has a fair amount of verticality and also is very close quarters, but I love that map. So I don't think it's just the size and stuff. Maybe, well, I was going to say maybe the infantry only, but personally I'd actually prefer that most of the time. So I don't know what it is about this map. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because I know that a lot of other people agree with that take. I'm sure a lot of you really like it, and that's fair as well, but I've seen a lot of comments of people being like, yeah, that map is absolute arse. So if you agree that it's not good, I'd love you to leave your thoughts on why it isn't good, because I still can't really put my finger on it. It's almost a bit annoying, because I want to know what it is I don't like about it, but I just genuinely, it's gone from like being like, oh, I don't really like that map, so I truly hate it. I actually hate this map now, and I would say in a month from now, if this comes up in the rotation, I'm backing out of that lobby. Like I will not be playing that. I'm borderline going to set up a persistent server in Portal with just all the maps except for Empire State. So anyway, I've rambled on for too long, but that one is definitely the worst map in the game by a pretty long margin, in my opinion. Now, moving on, we've got Operation Firestorm, and once again, this has not changed. This is an S tier map, in my opinion. Maybe over the course of all Battlefield maps ever, it may be more of an A tier. I don't know if it's definitely in that like GOAT tier level. I'm not entirely sure. I always kind of refer to this map as like the GOAT. I don't think it's necessarily the GOAT, but it's definitely a great map, and in this game for sure it is definitely S tier. So not too much to say on Firestorm. I think most people who have played Battlefield for a long time will probably agree. I'm curious to know if you're newer to Battlefield and you've never played Operation Firestorm, what are your thoughts on it as well? Because I don't know if it's just nostalgia that takes over. I do think it's a good layout and everything, but I am keen to hear thoughts from those who are maybe a bit newer, who never played the originals of this map. So be sure to leave those thoughts down below. Now, moving on, we got Iberanian Offensive, and I'm not entirely sure where I want this to be. I think B tier. I don't mind this map. I think certain modes is not as fun, but yeah, overall, I think this is kind of like a bit of a boring one, but it's just a decent map. It's just fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It does the job. I'm not I don't dislike it enough to like back out of the lobbies and stuff. But I also, when it pops up, I'm not like, yes, Iberanian Offensive. It's kind of just like a pretty mid-tier map. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think it's maybe like a 7 out of 10, which I think is good. I think if all maps were this level, I'd be fine with that. So yeah, not too much to say on that. I think it's got some cool destruction. I think in Conquest as well, the sea flag is kind of mad being in that big building. It's got 2 stories and you can like blow up all the walls and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. But outside of that, it's a pretty stock standard map at the end of the day. Now, just quickly for those interested in making the weapon grind a little bit easier in Battlefield 6, MitchCactus.com has you covered, as they'll actually handle everything you want from weapon leveling, completing challenges, or even ranking up your overall level while you're out at work or at school. With nearly 20,000 verified Trustpilot reviews, all of their packages are completely safe and legitimate. It's all handled manually in-game, so there's no hacking or glitching involved, and they provide these services across Xbox, PlayStation, and PC with a 100% money-back guarantee. Head on over to MitchCactus.com using the link in the description and use code SAMMY for 5% off for a limited time only. Now, moving on, we've got Liberation Peak, and this one has actually changed for me quite a bit after the beta, I won't lie. I think this one has actually moved up to being in the B tier. I think last time I had it maybe as the second lowest, if I'm remembering correctly. But they did really fix a lot of the issues with it. The whole like sniping on top of a mountain, that issue has been removed because they've just set the boundaries a lot tighter on the sort of rock areas. And also I think because of the crazy sniper glare not being a thing anymore, it's a bit less frustrating, even though that shouldn't actually mean there's less snipers, but it feels like there is. I don't know if there actually is or what, but maybe with the mountainous areas cut off, less people are sniping. I don't know, but it just feels a lot better in the full build of the game. And I kind of said this when it was in the beta and at the LA playtest. I remember saying like, I do like this map, it just, a bad game on it is really bad. And I think they've sort of fixed a lot of those issues. So again, it's not the best map in the game or anything, but I think it's a good map. I think it's a nice layout too. It's kind of just different. It's a little bit more linear. I think while I do prefer generally the more like Siege of Cairo type of maps that are more of a symmetrical layout, I think also like it's nice to have ones that are a little bit different. So yeah, I'm a fan of Liberation Peak. It's not the best map, like I said, but I think it's pretty comfortably in the B tier for me. Now moving on, we've got Mira Valley. And this one's tough. This one's tough. I had it here last time. I'm not entirely sure if it goes down a tier. I don't know if it was because it was brand new. I will also be honest, I haven't played it that much in like since launch. So I think for now, I'm going to put it down to B tier. So it's actually been demoted, which feels wrong because it's a good map still, but I don't know, maybe because it was newer, it just felt more exciting. But yeah, overall still a good map. I think the middle section's really fun. I like the crane being able to get blown up and stuff like that. That's really cool. And considering it's the biggest map in the game, it should be like bad because I don't really love the huge maps personally, but it's like a good size, I reckon. So yeah, for me, Mirak is probably a B tier. It's probably really these two. Oh, to be honest, yeah, maybe Liberation Peak is actually, damn, I didn't even think of that. Now I'm actually not sure what I prefer. You know what? I think I'd prefer Liberation Peak. Yeah, I do. I think it's actually gone below. So that's kind of weird because it's gone from here and like negatively leapfrogged Liberation Peak, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah, I think this has mostly just grown on me, and I think that was maybe a little bit too high last time. But again, all of these maps, I'll be honest, really all of them other than Empire State are good in my opinion. B probably seems pretty low in the context of the list, but all of these are about a 7 out of 10 or higher in my opinion. So they might look fairly low, but I do still rate all of these maps. Now moving on, we have got Manhattan Bridge, one of the new ones, and ironically actually all of these three are the ones that are new, as in like the ones I didn't rank last time. So I don't know if that is just luck because it's alphabetical order, so it's just worked out that way. But we've got Manhattan Bridge, and I will be honest, this potentially dethrones Cairo in that spot. I'm not 100% sure. I think Cairo has got more, I'm going to put it there. I think Cairo has, we've played it for so much longer that it's like, I know what that map is, where in Manhattan, like maybe in a few weeks, I'll feel a bit different about it. I'm not sure. So for now, I'm going to leave it there, but it may eventually in the next map ranking. I'll probably do these at like the end of each season or something. So I guess early next year, I'll do another map ranking. It may move up. It may go above that. I love this map. I genuinely love this map. It is so good in my opinion. I was really concerned I wouldn't like it just because I hated Empire State and I just thought it would be pretty similar. But man, I love the layout. I love how there's a good amount of verticality. Like some of the flags in Conquest are up, you know, the B flag is up on the building. The breakthrough, I think the second sector, one of the flags or one of the capture points is on the other building just below that as well. I like that it's got some verticality to it, and yeah, I really like this map. I would have loved if they could implement the bridge somehow into it, but that's really my only complaint. I think it plays really well, and probably some of my favorite games I've had so far have been on Manhattan Bridge. So they have cooked with this one, and I think it definitely deserves that A tier spot. Now moving on, we've got Saints Quarter, and this one's kind of hard because I will be honest, I despise the smaller modes, and I didn't initially know this was only in, you know, the small modes. It's not in Conquest, it's not in Breakthrough, which is a bit disappointing. I don't think you should be making maps just for small modes, personally. They should just do what they did with all of them, where they've got areas that can be small modes, but then make the bigger version for Conquest and stuff. Maybe they'll do that down the line, I'm not sure, but I would have loved to have seen this in Conquest, so I'm a little bit disappointed. Unfortunately, I'll pretty much never play this map ever, because I pretty much refuse to play those small game modes unless there's like challenges I need to hit, and even then, to be honest, unless it's like going to give me double XP tokens or something, I ain't doing that. So yeah, it's kind of tough. I do like the map though, if I'm honest. I don't know if I can put it above, I maybe will put it above Iberanian Offensive, but yeah, I don't think I can like put it high, even though I do like it, but it's only small modes. So I think I'm going to put it there. That feels right for me. I think if it was, man, I think if this was on Conquest, this could be up there. This could be a great map, but unfortunately, I don't know what they were thinking there, but they have put it as only small modes, which I get. You want a more focused experience, so you want to design it for small modes. I do get that, but you can't be just doing that for one map, in my opinion. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. And from what I have played of it, it's still, yeah, it is still a very decent map, in my opinion. Now, last but not least, we've got New Sobek City, and this one's tough. This one is very tough. I think it goes fairly high, but I'm not entirely sure where. Now that I look at this, I think it goes here. And I think Iberanian Offensive goes down here. That feels so wrong though, having Saints Quarter above that. I'm not sure. As for New Sobek City though, I do like this map. I've seen a lot of people sort of complain about it. It's pretty open. Some of the buildings in the middle allow for some crazy sniping spots and all that kind of thing. I see the complaints. Yeah, I really like it. The only thing I don't really love about it is the color palette is like very bland. In these pictures here between Cairo and Sobek, it looks similar, but Cairo looks very vibrant when you're on it. This one is very dull, which it's not the end of the world. That's very nitpicky, but I think a lot of the other maps, there's a lot of color to them and they're nice to look at, whereas like this just looks ugly, which isn't a bad thing. It's probably fairly realistic, being just in like a deserty area. The only cool part about it is like you can see the pyramids in the distance, which is sick. But yeah, that's really my only complaint. I think everything else about it is pretty decent. I think it's really fun on Breakthrough personally, and I think it's pretty solid on Conquest as well. So I think realistically, out of all of these maps, I think it's up there in terms of being good across both of those main game modes. Some of the other maps aren't as good. For example, like Liberation Peak Breakthrough isn't that great. It's fun for Conquest, in my opinion, but then that first sector, man, in Breakthrough is just clapped. So yeah, I think this has got a good balance. It just feels fun across all the modes. Even Escalation, I've had some good fun on that as well. So yeah, I think it deserves that spot, but I'm keen to hear your thoughts down below. So leave a comment, either roasting mine, or if you agree with me, which I'm pretty confident is going to be borderline no one, then let me know down in the comments as well. Leave your own rankings as well. If you're going to say my ranking's shit, at least leave yours so that we can all take the piss out of your one as well. So yeah, leave all your thoughts down in the comment section, but that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.